Picture this. You're standing in the TSA security line at Denver International Airport. It's 6 a.m. The coffee hasn't kicked in yet. Around you, hundreds of travelers are going through the same tired routine they've done for over 2 decades. Shoes off, belts off, that awkward hobble across cold tiles in socks that have seen better days. But then you notice something strange. The woman ahead of you, designer sneakers firmly laced, walks straight through the metal detector. No removal, no unlacing, no apologetic shuffle and stocking feet. The TSA agent doesn't even blink. She grabs her bag and disappears toward her gate while everyone else is still untying knots. You think it's a mistake. Maybe she's TSA pre-check and you missed it. But then it happens again. A businessman in leather dress shoes strides through without pause. A teenager in high-top Converse bounces through the scanner like it's any other doorway. And suddenly, you realize something fundamental has shifted in airport security. Something almost no one is talking about. Here's the truth airport insiders have been quietly whispering about for months. At select airports across the United States, the 20-year-old shoe removal requirement is silently disappearing. Not everywhere, not for everyone. But for travelers who know where to look and how to spot the signs, that daily humiliation of airport security is becoming optional. The crazy part? TSA isn't announcing it, airlines aren't promoting it, and most travelers have no idea it's happening. Because while millions of passengers continue stripping off their footwear out of habit, a small group of informed flyers are breezing through security lanes equipped with technology so advanced it can detect threats through shoe soles without anyone removing a thing. This isn't some future fantasy. It's happening right now in specific terminals at particular checkpoints for travelers smart enough to recognize the opportunity. And by the end of today's revelation, you'll know exactly where to find these revolutionary security lanes and how to use them to your advantage. But here's the catch. The technology rollout is inconsistent, unpredictable, and completely underpublicized. Walk into the wrong lane, and you'll still be yanking off your shoes like it's 2003. Walk into the right one, and you'll glide through like you have some kind of airport superpower that other travelers can only dream about. The question isn't whether this change is real. The question is whether you'll be one of the travelers who benefits from it or one of the millions still struggling with shoelaces while the insiders walk right past you. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on the most significant shift in airport security since TSA PreCheck launched. You'll learn which airports are secretly testing this technology, how to identify the lanes where shoes stay on, and why this quiet revolution is about to change everything you thought you knew about getting through security. Because in 2026, there will be 2 types of travelers. Those who know about the scanner revolution and those who don't. And trust me, you want to be in the first group. Here's what TSA doesn't want you to know. The technology to eliminate shoe removal has existed for years. Advanced computed tomography scanners, the same CT machines used in hospitals, have been quietly installed in select security checkpoints since 2022. These aren't your grandfather's metal detectors or even the millimeter wave scanners you're used to. These are million-dollar machines that can create 3D images so precise they can detect explosive materials through leather, rubber, and fabric without requiring a single item of clothing to come off. The reason you haven't heard about it? Politics, logistics, and money. Lots of money. Installing CT scanners isn't cheap. Each unit costs between $300,000 and $500,000. Multiply that across thousands of checkpoints nationwide, and you're looking at a multi-billion-dollar infrastructure overhaul. So instead of a grand announcement, TSA has been quietly testing the technology at select locations, measuring effectiveness, monitoring passenger flow, and slowly expanding the program without fanfare. But here's the insider truth. These machines don't just eliminate shoe removal, they're designed to eventually eliminate the entire 311 liquid rule, laptop removal requirements, and most of the unpacking chaos that makes security lines feel like disassembly instructions for your life. The shoe thing is just the beginning. Current estimates show that fewer than 15% of U.S. airports have any CT-enabled checkpoints. And within those airports, it might be just 1 or 2 lanes out of 20. The rollout is deliberately gradual because TSA learned from past technology launches. Remember when body scanners were introduced? The public backlash was intense. Privacy concerns, health worries, massive delays as agents figured out how to use the equipment properly. This time, they're being strategic. Soft launches, minimal publicity. Let travelers discover the benefits organically rather than creating expectations they can't meet consistently across all airports. Here's where it gets interesting. The airports chosen for CT scanner pilots weren't random. TSA selected high-volume hubs where passenger flow data could provide meaningful results. Atlanta Hartsfield, Phoenix Sky Harbor, Chicago O'Hare, Los Angeles LAX, and Dallas Fort Worth were among the first testing grounds. But the specific terminals and checkpoints within those airports, that information is deliberately kept quiet. Airport insiders who've worked with the rollout describe a system where even TSA agents aren't always sure which lanes have the advanced technology on any given day. Some checkpoints are hybrid, switching between traditional and CT scanning based on passenger volume, staffing levels, and equipment maintenance schedules. This is why some travelers report keeping their shoes on at certain airports, only to be stopped and asked to remove them during their return trip through the same terminal. It's not inconsistency for its own sake. It's a complex system being tested and refined in real time. But here's the part that might frustrate you the most. The shoe removal requirement was never actually about security effectiveness. Studies conducted by TSA's own research division found that requiring shoe removal prevented fewer than 0.003% of potential security threats. The policy continued for 2 decades not because it worked, but because it became expected, routine, part of the airport security theater that passengers accepted as necessary. Advanced CT scanners have proven they can detect the same threats more effectively while keeping shoes on. Internal TSA data shows that CT-equipped checkpoints actually have higher threat detection rates than traditional lanes, while processing passengers 23% faster on average. So why isn't this information public? Because TSA operates on the principle of security through unpredictability. If travelers knew exactly which lanes offered shoe-on screening, passenger flow would become uneven. Lines would form specifically for those checkpoints, creating bottlenecks and defeating the efficiency gains the technology is supposed to provide. The result is a quiet revolution happening in plain sight. A technology upgrade that benefits informed travelers while remaining invisible to the general flying public. And for those who know how to spot it, the advantage is significant. Here's the information airport insiders use to identify advanced CT scanner lanes, the subtle visual cues that tell you whether you're approaching a checkpoint where shoes can stay on or heading toward the traditional strip and shuffle routine. First, the physical scanner itself. CT machines are noticeably different from standard metal detectors. Instead of a simple arch you walk through, CT scanners look more like MRI machines. They're larger, often white or light gray, with a more substantial presence. The walk-through area is wider and deeper. If you see a scanner that looks more like medical equipment than a doorway, there's a good chance it's CT-enabled. But the real giveaway isn't the machine. It's the behavior of TSA agents. At CT checkpoints, agents are trained differently. Instead of the robotic shoes, belts, laptops chant you hear at traditional lanes, CT-trained agents use more specific language. Listen for phrases like, keep electronics in your bag, or liquids can stay packed. These verbal cues indicate you're in an advanced lane. The signage is another tell. Traditional checkpoints have standard TSA posters showing laptops coming out of bags and shoes being removed. CT checkpoints often have newer digital displays or updated signage that specifically mentions keeping items packed or electronics enclosed. Look for signs that seem more modern or recently updated compared to the faded posters at adjacent lanes. Seasoned travelers have identified patterns across major airports. At Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson, Terminal F typically has at least 2 CT lanes operating during peak hours, usually in the north and south checkpoint areas, but the specific lane numbers rotate based on staffing and maintenance schedules. Phoenix Sky Harbor focuses CT scanner deployment on Terminal 4, particularly for Southwest Airlines passengers. The technology appears most consistently during morning rush periods between 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. when passenger volume justifies dedicating agents trained on the advanced equipment. At LAX, international terminals seem to get priority for CT scanner installation, likely because international passengers present more complex screening scenarios. Terminal B and the Tom Bradley International Terminal have reported the most consistent CT lane availability. But here's the insider move most travelers never think to use. Ask. Not demanding, not entitled, just a simple question to the TSA agent directing passenger flow. Are any of the lanes ahead equipped with the newer scanners? 9 times out of 10, they will point you toward the CT-enabled checkpoint if one is operating. Why does this work? Because TSA agents actually prefer working CT lanes. The equipment is more reliable, screening is faster, and passengers are generally happier when they do not have to disassemble their entire travel setup. Agents who have been trained on CT scanners often take pride in the technology and are willing to share which lanes offer the best passenger experience. The timing matters too. CT scanners require more specialized maintenance than traditional metal detectors. Early morning flights often get priority access because the equipment has been running overnight diagnostics and is at peak performance. Late night flights, especially after 9 p.m., are less likely to have CT lanes operating due to staffing rotations and equipment cooldown cycles. Here's a strategy frequent flyers use that sounds almost too simple to work. They check TSA's social media accounts and airport websites before traveling. While TSA does not advertise CT scanner locations directly, they occasionally post about enhanced screening technology or improved passenger experience initiatives at specific airports. These euphemistic announcements often indicate recent CT scanner installations or expansions. Travel bloggers and frequent flyer forums have begun crowdsourcing CT scanner sightings. Websites like Flyer Talk and the Points Guy comment sections contain real-time reports from travelers who've identified shoe-optional lanes at various airports. The information isn't official, but it's often more current than anything TSA publishes. And here's the detail that might surprise you most. Some airports are deliberately training passengers to expect shoe removal even in CT lanes. Not because the technology requires it, but because inconsistent procedures across different airports create confusion. Rather than explain which lanes offer what capabilities, some TSA checkpoints default to the lowest common denominator, requiring shoe removal regardless of scanner capability. This is why the truly informed traveler doesn't just look for CT scanners. They observe agent behavior, listen for updated instructions, and position themselves accordingly. Because in this transition period, knowledge isn't just power, it's the difference between a 3-minute security experience and a 15-minute ordeal. The shoe removal revolution is just the beginning. By 2027, TSA projects that over 40% of major airport checkpoints will be CT-enabled. But the changes coming extend far beyond footwear. The entire airport security experience is being redesigned around speed, efficiency, and passenger comfort. Here's what airport insiders know is coming next. Liquid restrictions are disappearing at CT-equipped checkpoints. Full-size bottles, cans, and containers will soon be allowed through security at advanced lanes. Laptop removal requirements are being eliminated. The 311 rule that has governed carry-on packing for nearly 2 decades is becoming obsolete, but only for travelers who know which checkpoints offer the updated screening. The strategic advantage goes to travelers who understand this isn't a uniform rollout. Airport security is fragmenting into 2 distinct tiers: advanced technology lanes for informed passengers and traditional screening for everyone else. The gap between these experiences is widening every month. Smart travelers are already adapting their behavior. They research airport security technology before booking flights. They choose airlines and terminals based on CT scanner availability. They adjust arrival times, knowing that advanced lanes process passengers faster, allowing for shorter security buffer times. But here's the insider detail most travelers miss. The real advantage isn't just faster screening, it's predictability. CT scanner technology is more consistent than traditional methods. Fewer false alarms, fewer bag searches, fewer delays caused by equipment sensitivity. When you know you're entering an advanced lane, you can plan your entire airport timing more precisely. The preparation strategy is shifting too. Instead of packing for the lowest common denominator, TSA-compliant travelers are beginning to pack optimally for CT scanners. Larger liquids, electronics kept in bags, shoes chosen for comfort rather than removal convenience. They're designing their travel setup around the technology they expect to encounter, not the restrictions they're trying to avoid. The international implications are developing as well. European airports have been faster to adopt advanced screening technology. If you're accustomed to keeping shoes on at Amsterdam Schiphol or London Heathrow, you might be surprised by the traditional requirements when returning through U.S. airports that haven't upgraded. The global passenger experience is becoming inconsistent in ways that catch travelers off guard. Here's your action plan for navigating this security revolution. First, research your departure airport before every trip. Check recent traveler reports on CT scanner availability. Look for terminal-specific information about advanced screening lanes. Build this research into your pre-flight routine the same way you check gate assignments and departure times. Second, adjust your packing strategy. If you're departing from a CT-enabled airport, pack optimally for advanced screening. Keep electronics in bags, bring full-size toiletries, choose comfortable shoes you won't need to remove, but pack a backup plan in case you encounter traditional screening on your return journey. Third, master the identification skills. Learn to spot CT scanners by sight, listen for updated agent instructions, and position yourself in advanced lanes when available. This isn't about gaming the system. It's about understanding how the system works and using that knowledge to your advantage. Fourth, stay informed about the rollout timeline. TSA's CT scanner expansion accelerates in 2026 and 2027. Airports that don't have the technology today likely will within 18 months. Your home airport might transition while you're not looking, suddenly offering capabilities you didn't know existed. The travelers who benefit most from this revolution aren't necessarily frequent flyers or business travelers, they're informed travelers. People who understand that airport security is evolving rapidly and who adapt their strategies accordingly. Here's the final insider truth. This technology transition represents the biggest shift in airport security since 9/11. For travelers who recognize the opportunity, it offers a significant advantage in speed, convenience, and stress reduction. For those who remain unaware, airport security will become increasingly frustrating as they watch other passengers breeze through checkpoints using capabilities they don't understand. The choice is yours. You can continue following 20-year-old security routines designed for outdated technology, or you can position yourself at the front of a revolution that's already happening in airports across the country. Which type of traveler will you be? The one still struggling with shoelaces, or the one walking confidently through scanners that most passengers don't even know exist? The technology is here, the lanes are open, the only question left is whether you'll be smart enough to use them. Now tell me, have you encountered these advanced scanners without realizing it? Drop your airport experiences below. I read every story. And if this insider information helped you rethink your security strategy, hit subscribe because the next wave of airport changes is already rolling out. Until then, travel smart, stay informed, and remember the scanners are watching, but now they're watching to help you, not slow you down.